well, that's fine because now I have one. So, like,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
already
you
took
had
it.
one, and then
It's your
you know we
name.
switched. It was like boom, you know, yeah.
Fair enough.
Everybody.
Yeah, no, 2-man buns is a little on the cuff.
But
You got 2 flannel shirts and 1 man bun.
oh, I think I have a flannel somewhere. Oh, I was gonna make. I totally forgot to do it. I was gonna make like a big paper American flag
Ah,
and stick it to my fucking
Damn.
shirt.
You'll
You
Check
know.
this out.
Yeah.
oh man.
You know, I put these on the entire last episode, but nobody knows.
You just kept doing it the whole time. No, I noticed it when I was editing it that you just were. I didn't realize it was that many though because you were so poorly lit. Well, anyway, we're rolling.
Oh fuck!
You mean rolling like recording?
Yeah, like recording. We open with the man bun segment.
Okay, good.
And then the flannel shirts. And welcome to Dead Hair with the Beltway Babes. So Laura P is queasy. Hopefully it's nothing. She's not texting back right now, so I think she's asleep. But she wrote a couple hours ago saying if she could rally, she would join. So she might still pop in. But yeah, so we have that's the problem now. Anytime anybody says they're sick, you have to take it back of your head. You're like, fuck. I mean, there's some horror stories.
I think you could just assume that it's COVID. You just assume that's what it is.
But it keeps.
Well, I've never even heard that as a symptom.
Yeah,
well, and everything is like a symptom, you know.
That's the problem. Everything is a symptom.
Yeah, like the rash that Andrew was telling you about. Yeah.
So let's introduce Chell right away. Is that all right to call you that, Chell?
Yeah, no, totally. Chell? I use my real name in my podcast, even though like I pretend that I'm not using my real name.
We have a very special fill-in for LP. Chell, all the way from not Hamburg, Germany. Where in Germany are you?
Mönchengladbach.
Munchen.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Mönchengladbach.
So like Munich, then I'm assuming.
Like the football team. Nah, nothing to do with Munich. Munich is München, but this is Mönchengladbach. You know.
I have a fucking Munich Adidas jumper that I actually was gonna wear tonight, but it's literally downstairs in the washing machine.
Well, go put it on.
It's in the washing machine. I can't. Also, I think my downstairs neighbor is COVID, so I hate walking by her door to do laundry now.
Totally.
I'm just becoming this total fucking shut-in.
But I'm going back to Hamburg. I just want to point that out.
Okay.
Mönchengladbach is just like a stopover sort of thing, like 9 months.
So you got stuck there because of COVID,
what are you doing out there?
Well, no, yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of a story, right? Like my wife and I, oh, by the way, Andrew, I got married.
You got married? Congratulations. I didn't know you were married. I knew you'd been with the same partner for a super long time.
Yeah. No, I got married.
I didn't know you actually tied the knot. Was that 2019 you got married?
No, that was like a month ago. And
right. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, but I mean, the thing is, it was cheers, Prost,
cheers,
as they say in Germany, and yeah. So no, I mean the thing was, we didn't plan to get married, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, we did plan to get married, but then COVID and shit, and for my visa, it makes shit easier. But we haven't had like the ceremony or not. It was just like me and her, Anna. We just went to the courthouse and like signed a piece of paper, and then her father took us out for ice cream afterwards.
Right. A nice German girl.
Yeah, totally. Married a German girl, and we're staying with her father now because we were, we had saved up for a while and we were doing a world trip. And then it got cut short, but we still managed to do about half of it, which is all right.
Wait, so where were you when COVID hit then?
We were just coincidentally, we were stopping over in Germany between Asia and South America.
Wow.
And of course, COVID, people have been already talking about it for a month or two, but we arrived on like the 3rd of March, and then our flight out got canceled. And although we had by that point pretty much decided not to go anyway because everybody was shutting down and borders were shutting down.
What, you were in Southeast Asia when?
Yeah, I was in India for like, up until the end of February, basically. And nobody gave a shit about it at all.
Right.
Like nobody was talking about it, Now India got hit super hard, but I thought it was just nothing. I was like, nah, I mean, every few years is a big, pandemic, like that last pandemic,
in Madison too.
Yeah. And then
swine flu is going to be another one that wasn't really going to
Exactly. And then, we had friends telling us like, but people are really freaking out about it. Like, what could it be? And my whole theory was that like, China was locking itself down as a kind of power play to demonstrate to the rest of the world that it can, because the rest of the world was like, well, if we actually had a pandemic, we would never be able to lock down like China's locking down, and China just wanted to show everybody that. And that's why everybody was overreacting because they needed to it was all a bunch of political posturing. That was my plan. Ironically enough, China successfully locked down. I mean, in a very draconian way, and then the rest of the world ended up getting fucking mad corona.
I feel like that's its whole topic is how some of these autocratic states were able to lock down
Totally.
more effectively. But at the same time, it's hard to know what comes out of them. And then like, well, this is a whole another topic that we actually should do sometime because Kish has like a PhD in Asian studies, but I don't want to even take one foot down that road right now. Also, Kish, how are you? Got a haircut?
Got a haircut today.
You go in?
Manhattan. That's some
yes,
bullshit.
You went to Manhattan, New York City.
I had to drive 10 hours today for a fucking dentist appointment because of the American insurance industry.
Fuck. Yeah, but Manhattan's cool though, right?
Yeah, Manhattan's always cool.
Well, so Andrew sent us a photo of him in Times Square today, and it's empty in the middle of the day. So we're gonna post that on our Twitter, which is @deadbabes. But that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, we got. What are you doing with my image here? And how are we going to monetize it? I haven't seen one thing you've done with our
podcast yet. I don't send you any of it because I know you'll just fucking hate all of it. So I don't send you any of the promos I do, or at you on any of the random Facebooking and Twittering I do.
Have you tried to monetize? Like, how does that work?
You know? No, I will. I did it with. We had a podcast.
You need more than 3 viewers.
Yeah, but it's never too early to start monetizing.
We have an average of 40 viewers an episode.
That's a lot. That's like that's a solid start.
That's not me clicking it a bunch because I copy paste the. When I do it, it's not. It doesn't give us another click. So I know that
we're gonna have to erase all these episodes when I get a job in the Biden administration.
Yes, you do that. I will eat a flag pin. I will eat.
When Trump,
it's almost worth it.
When Trump first became president, he was like, doing crazy shit. I was this close to writing a letter and being like, yo, Trump, check it out. Make me your ambassador to Germany. Right. It's perfect. Like I was just going to lie my ass off and be like,
you'd have to give him money for that to work. He only did it for people that gave him money.
But that's all it takes. Just the money? Do you see the,
that is all it takes. Yeah.
It is all it takes. Like
my approach
Jared Kushner's coronavirus task force was like a bunch of college kids he just like recruited, and they were like showed up and they're like, yeah, just like figure out how to do the logistics, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I got to go back to fixing the Middle East, but you kids got COVID,
right? Yeah.
Awesome.
My take was going to be like, what better way to piss off Merkel than to hire somebody who has just no fucking experience? I maybe not sell it quite like that, but like, somebody like me.
Yeah, but everything there has to be a gain for him. And the more like obvious and like the more like cheap and thuggish, like here's 20 grand, like the better for him. Like
yeah,
he's the least creative bad guy in maybe in American history. He's pretty basic, like a shark, pretty basic instincts.
Well, what I don't get is why like all of these like people living in like, rural countryside areas let themselves be swindled by this rich New Yorker.
I have there's a couple theories that I subscribe to on that, and then I'll let Kish take it and probably hate them. But one is that a lot of people only vote for Trump. They don't vote otherwise. They tell pollsters to go fuck themselves when they call. And they didn't even think Trump would make shit better. They just knew he'd make it worse for you. So they went out and voted. I think they're a sliver, but they're sizable enough. And then the other side is, well, we've been lied to, obviously, by the DNC, and they're really good at saying a lot of big words and proving to me why my life needs to suck or whatever. But like, why not roll the dice with this guy? Like everyone else is, and I think part of the margin that Trump lost by was those people being like, all right, rolling the dice didn't work last time. My life's shittier now.
But like more people voted for him this time. Like that's the thing that also fucking gets me, man. Like fucking like I mean he lost, but still like the absolute number of voters for Trump, which means that like half the fucking country looked at the last 4 years and said, yeah, I like it. I like this. I want more.
Well,
of this.
Can we dive right into Q? Because that is why you're on the show. And Kish, if I talk too much, jump in at any point, or if you want to say something now.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just listened to Sean Hannity for like 10 hours in a car ride, so got a pretty good take on fucking psyche and what's going on in Trump land.
Well, we were going to start
ideology, man. The whole thing is own the libs. Own the libs, and that's it, man. That's all you have to know. Everybody's like looking for like, we don't like the policy decisions made by Democratic leaders, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't fucking matter. It's just own the libs. Right. They're all corrupt, and everything Trump does is infallible because own the libs.
When I first started thinking that Trump, and I didn't think he was going to win. I thought Hillary was going to win. Kish did think Trump was going to win. I was a bar manager at a place that is now officially, they tried to make it through COVID and all that shit, and with the mask restrictions and the capacity changing, they were able to reopen. Now as of yesterday, they officially are done for good. So that bar is officially kaput. The one that I was a manager of for 3 years. But anyway, but they one of the cooks there, I was out smoking a joint in my Pontiac Sunfire with him between shifts, and he was like, well, I don't vote and I don't give a shit, but like, I think I'm gonna vote for Trump because let's be the generation that just like blew everything up. And I remember being like, whoa, and I like talked him out of it. I mean, I think talked him out of it, or at least talked him into just not voting. But that was interesting. That's the bomb throwing perspective that people don't give enough credit to. And I think if Trump had actually thrown more bombs, if he had like ended the wars more and like released UFO shit, he would for sure have won in a landslide. I think
Trump for sure would have won if he wasn't totally fucking incompetent and lacking empathy. He should have won. In every possible way for
everything
COVID.
Wrong and still almost won.
Yeah. If COVID Biden was just bad, like even reasonably addressed and he like expressed empathy, he would have won. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, probably if COVID hadn't happened, he would have fucking won.
And with his instinct at the end to do all those big rallies, even though 700 people died from those rallies in the last week, that really started pushing him back up in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, in Florida, where he was targeting. So if Trump had another week to just keep being Trump, and Biden kept like not really doing anything, I think he would have also won. He would have flipped like Georgia and Pennsylvania, say. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. We got to have a whole different show on how it's all the fucking Democrats' fault, man. Like, honestly, like the right is like lost of fucking ideology. Like it's all just ideology. It's just fucking own the libs. It doesn't really fucking matter as long as it's just like gonna fucking hurt somebody else that's not them, or you can blame somebody else. That's it. And he's gonna win. And then like if things keep going the way they are, which it looks like he's going to win again, or whoever he supports is going to win again, because like that underlying logic or like idea has not wavered. It's only grown more. And then especially listen to fucking conspiratorial Hannity or any single local and national conservative radio host, 100% across the board. It's still just talking about like what's dismissed now in our like mainstream news is like the fringe theories of Giuliani and his craziness. It's like absolutely and utterly embraced and just promoted 100%. And talked about all day, fucking every day here, right?
Well, think about it. Like on local Wisconsin radio, talk radio, WIBA, it's like 3 hours of Vicki McKenna with like a little break in between. And then like Hannity's show is like at least a couple hours before he goes on to TV. And Limbaugh has a show. And then there's like fucking whoever the hell else you have in your town.
The people that fill in for Limbaugh now are also like worse.
18 hours a day of just that voice, especially if you're like a trucker or like there's all sorts of reasons why you just, I mean, I listen to fucking nonstop, like leftist shit all day, I try to mix up my sources, but I definitely have like some political fucking talker.
And I mean, at this point, MSNBC is just pretty much as equally as bad as Fox News. There's like
a little dumber,
discernible difference.
They're a little bit less. They're just like more boring and a little like.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of dogmatism. It's a dogmatism couched in like showing records or something, but there's still a complete and like coherent ideology affixed to it that has this huge filter on it of any other information or perspectives, and has this sort of moral hierarchy embedded within everything that they construct in the narrative of MSNBC. That's there every single day, all day, every day.
I think that's
creating the same bubble of information. Even if you want to yeah, I'm sure I'm going to like probably agree with MSNBC more.
Their base is not like Fox News though. Fox News has like an army. Oh. MSNBC is like there's just as many people like me who don't watch MSNBC and like vote for Biden and Hillary and like just knowing they're not going to change, but hoping and trying. Or like at least like trying to like catch largesse and like plug some holes, make some lives better, So like I don't know. I just don't even think MSNBC is really relevant, are they?
I mean, you know, it's weird, you know, like Trump talks all about this fake news, you know, right? Fake news, this fake news. Anytime anybody says something that Trump disagrees with, it's fake news, you know? And it like, it's like caught fire. Like, you know, like his base, they love that fake news. Like anytime you criticize Trump, yeah, it's fake news, you know?
Right.
But like the thing is that like the left, and now, you know, the left is all like, oh, Trump with this fake news stuff, he's trying to undermine one of the pillars of democracy, which is like having a free and independent press and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, but dude, the press is not free. It's not fucking
none of this, right?
You know, like
you're defending shitty institutions that are under attack for good reason.
Totally, it's just like the rehabilitation of fucking George Bush, dude.
Oh,
like,
I know. That it's just disgusting. Or like John Kasich as a resistance hero. It's just
totally. I mean, the left has been calling shenanigans on the mainstream media like way before it was fucking cool, man. You know, like, you know, fucking Chomsky's book in the fucking 60s
for the last 4 years, and they're like, journalists are just doing their jobs.
Totally. But you know what's interesting, right? Like, look at how the media, the mainstream media, both sides, you know, CNN, you know, Fox, look at how they treat Trump, right? You know, because like ostensibly CNN hates Trump. You know, everything that they say about Trump is like super negative and blah, blah, blah. They're like anti-Trump, right? You know, but then compare how they treat Trump to how they treat like more traditional like antagonists like Noam Chomsky, right? Because when was the last time you heard Noam Chomsky mentioned on fucking CNN?
I will tell you when. It's when every 4 years he says the most ethical choice is to vote for the Democrat instead of like if you're a progressive, because like the alternative is fascism.
Did he say that about Hillary?
One soundbite. He gets a 1-sentence soundbite, and they freeze out everything else he ever said. The only breakthrough CNN has was putting Cornel West on, which also he was on like basically blackout for a long time. That was like actually kind of crazy that he like, you know, found a blip in the matrix, but he's back off, right? Like he's not like he's a permanent fixture or anything.
But that's it then, right? That's it, because the media is fucking they're afraid of Chomsky, because Chomsky's message is essentially would undermine the whole fucking thing that this media is built on, this whole fucking establishment. But they don't blacklist Trump, right? Because they're not fucking afraid of Trump, you know? They're not afraid of Trump. CNN loves fucking Trump. That's also in my conspiracy head, you know, and I try not to be conspiracy, you know, thinking conspiracy, you know, stuff. But that you know, that's why I think the mainstream media got so behind Biden, because he's boring as fuck, and they wanted him to lose so they could have 4 more years of Trump, so they can make all that fucking sweet money. You know, they fucking love Trump. He's not a threat to them. He's a fucking, you know, capitalist, 100%, you know, deregulation bullshit. The media, the people who run the media love fucking Trump. You know,
that is very conspiratorial.
let me just counter that a little bit, Chell. Although I love all of this. This is all gold. But is that I do think the media. I mean, Biden is the corporatist candidate. Like everyone who owns all the newspapers, all 4 dudes, like are Biden's buddy. Like they can make money off Trump, but the status quo is going to get strengthened, and sort of like that tree is going to get rewatered now under Biden. If it had been Bernie or Yang, hell no. And that's why you see the DNC and the mainstream media attack those people so much harder, because
and blacklist, like you just don't hear as much about that.
Like the most powerful people, obviously, in this country are not elected. They're people like Jeff Bezos and fucking Michael Bloomberg and
Murdoch or whatever. Right? Murdoch is like,
Rupert Murdoch, who I think is technically an Australian, but same fucking difference. You know, shit like that, or like fucking Epstein or Weinstein, both like. Once it turned on them, it turned, but they got like 20-year free pass, you know? So yeah, I think we're all on the same page on this, but let me divert us into Q, because that is the topic. That is the topic of this episode. And that is really why I wanted you 2 guys to get together. So Chell, let me plug you quick, or bigly, hugely, because I really like your podcast.
Thank you.
I'm a listener. I'm an early adopter.
Awesome.
To Tastefully Digressed.
How many people watch your show?
You blew up after you got banned.
Yeah, after I got banned, I average about 35.
Don't even average in the pre-banning stuff, because those numbers were start-off numbers, and now that you got banned from Facebook,
I've had 150 downloads. No, 170 downloads.
That's wild.
Since I started. College Hall.
Yeah, but I have done now like 7 episodes, or 5 or something.
And you're kind of, I mean, you do a lot of stuff, but you do the ones that the one I enjoyed the most was your deepest dive into Q. I think it's called, and I linked it on our Facebook, which is facebook.com/ what are we? Beltway Babes.
Yeah.
But
I'll never see that. I'll never see
I know,
that
but I
link on
am
Facebook,
reposting your content on our
That's
feed.
good. That's awesome. Repost
So,
episode number 3 because I think that's the one that got me banned.
That's the one that got. Yeah, I posted
okay, cool,
that, and
cool.
I posted you getting banned, and then in preparation for this interview today, I reposted your Q one because that was really, I think, the bread and butter of this. Because you went through. I have so many questions. Like,
yeah, I should probably
where are you looking? Like, which, like, I've never seen like a Q post. I just know the peripherum around it, and what, why all the lists? There's like a bunch of lists.
Why don't you just give the premise of what your show is?
Oh, the show is just it's a slice of life. Just me hanging out.
It's all politics.
It's all politics.
Just you talking about Q.
Yeah, I'm trying not to talk about politics, but I just only ever talk about politics. No, I talk about other stuff. It's just the Q comes up because it's funny, and also because like there's been a number of protests in Germany. They call themselves Querdenker. It's like sideways thinkers. Like to think differently. And they're all the anti COVID people. And you see these protests and they hold up signs like the "We Are Q" sign, and I've been aware of Q for a while.
Is there any Nazi stuff? Like, how in America they're always like Nazis are like making us wear masks. Like, do people do that shit in Germany ever?
Yeah, no. Well, two things, right? So first off, the people who do the anti-COVID protests are, like there's definitely like neo-Nazis as a part of their group. And also like the far right party in Germany, the AfD, which, they say they're not Nazi, but I mean, they're fucking Nazi. They want like Germany for Germans kind of thing. They are almost identical to the Republican Party in the United States. So it's like fucking terrifying. I swear to God, they love Trump the most. And the same kind of rhetoric comes,
Do they have seats in your parliament? Do they have any like political legitimacy?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they have a few, but like, I'd say nationwide, they get maybe like 10% or something. And then there's certain areas like states or whatever you'd call them that get maybe up to 20%, 25%.
Bavaria is big, right? Isn't Bavaria?
I mean, Bavaria has their CSU. They're like their Christian socialist. No, it's not Christian socialist. It's Christian. Maybe it is Christian socialist. Anyway, they have their own conservative party. So there's like the big, center right party in Germany, and then there's the Bavarian center right party, and they're like bestest buddies. And that has a lot of. But I guess probably there would be more supporters in Bavaria for
because Bavaria is kind of like the Alberta of Canada, or like the more and they almost have the French Canadians, right? They have their more.
But there's also like East German states, that are like former, and I think that they tend to former Soviet, and for whatever reason they tend to also have a lot of AfD support, as far as I'm aware. But I only live here. I just live here. I don't. I follow American politics.
You've lived there a decade, right?
Yeah, I've been here for 10
years. I mean, you've been expatriated.
Yeah.
That's why I'm drinking the schnapps, because I'm just trying to take that integration to the next level, because this stuff is fucking awful.
You eat
it's like fucking rubbing alcohol. I swear to God.
So Kish, now that we have 50 viewers, you have to lean in when you say your zingers, because I would hear you say funny shit, but you're always like lean back, like whatever, and I can't up it in the edit.
What?
I don't know what any of that means.
Delicious food. Germany's got okay food, like sausages and shit.
Germany's got food. It's got the best food, man. I'm like, unironically, I would eat German food every day.
I don't know, man. I would kill for like Asian soups over German food any day of the week.
No, dude, you can't. I can't eat Asian food I did eat Asian food every day for a long time, so that's why I don't want to eat
Asian food. Is what I eat the most here, and it's what I dream the most about. I dream almost every night about being backpacking again, and I always have a ticket somewhere cool, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to fucking Uzbekistan tomorrow. That's awesome. I'm gonna go eat Asian soup and then pack my backpack. And then
I heard they're fascist in Uzbekistan, but I don't.
I'll find out.
They are.
Well,
but okay, but okay, QAnon. So
dope, and it's delicious. It just makes you feel like you're gonna have gout, which is probably a good sign, because that means
gout sounds like a German word. I don't know if it is, but maybe they invented it. Could be.
The origins of that word.
I feel like the polka is because people have gout and they like
can't move very well. You know Käsespätzle?
I do not.
You don't know Käsespätzle? What about Käse-Leberkäse?
Is that a kind of sausage?
Käse-Leberkäse?
Cheese.
It's all sausage. Well, Käsespätzle is like the special noodle that's got cheese on top.
Yeah.
And Leberkäse is like
it's cheese.
Yeah, queso, yeah, kind of like a mac and cheese, but the noodle's different, you know. But and then labor queso is like liver cheese, but it has nothing to do with either liver or cheese. And if you get queso labor queso, that's liver cheese with cheese, and then you get cheese in it. But it's really just like meatloaf. It's like meatloaf with like injected cheese.
I think I can dig it. That sounds great.
Yeah,
it's fucking good. That's good. But anyway, so okay, so Q stuff.
So you've been diving into Q. You were trying to sort of find the logic of it, and I just want to list. I just want to say some things.
Oh wait, you wanted to ask me where I'm finding. I wanted to say that.
Let's start on that. Like
totally.
What, like, because conspiracy theories almost always start on like they're dropped on like the perfect weird message board, and there's something about how hard it is to navigate that shit that adds to its clout. So by the time I hear about Q, I've never actually read a Q thing. So when you started doing this research, where did you go? And is that why you're now banned from Facebook?
Probably why I'm banned from Facebook. So I like anybody else just Googled it, right? And I knew from reading some article, and actually that's what got me into Q. I was reading some article and they're like, this guy originally posted on 8chan, which is now 8kun. Kun being like an anime word for, is it weebos? Is that the word for people who like anime? No, weebos? There's a word for it now that kids are using.
There's a few. There's one that just means like shut in too, right? Like full.
Yeah. But I think. But anyways, it's so. And I thought, oh, okay. Well, now I know the site because I thought it was 4chan and it was not 4chan.
I thought it was 4chan too.
Yeah. No, it's 8chan. It's 8chan, which is now 8.
It was all 4chan.
I think so. Although there might have been a connection between Pizzagate and Q, but I'm not 100% sure. That gets a bit murky. I didn't go quite that far back.
I think I went back to truthers, like 9/11 truthers. Kind of continued into Q.
Well, there's been conspiracy theories since like JFK and shit.
Q is sort of a new manifestation, though. It seems like, I mean, they're all interconnected, but like it's of its own birth.
Well, I want you to have a final word on this, Chell, but the research I did for this episode, it seemed to me that it kind of all bled into one movement and then kind of got revitalized as Q, but it pulled from a lot of 9/11 truth.
I mean, I didn't do like
the shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, I didn't do a lot of the what do you call it, like the deep anthropological research.
So you go on 8chan.
I just started reading it. Yeah, totally. So I went on 8chan and I couldn't find fucking Q. Like I looked for like an hour and it was like this just doesn't make any sense. But I did notice that like some of their most searched for items in their weird little cloud thing were like extremely racist. I was like, oh, this is encouraging. But
I'm on the right path.
I'm on the right path. They're here somewhere. I just have to wade through it, I
gotta wade through all this fucking slander. Okay,
totally. But then I found, then just a simple Google search later, I found something that's Q Research, which is a website where you put the dot before the CH. Yeah. I don't want to say the website out or like spell it because I kind of think that might be what got me banned. So like, I don't want to put it on your video, but it's a website and it's Q Research and there's a dot before the CH, right?
Now, are we talking like a Tor browser type thing? Like it's not on the
it's just a normal website. It's a normal website. It's easy to access and it's just basically an index of Q posts. And
it's an example of the chilling effect in action though, right now, I will say. Is like three of us with zero fucking journalistic clout, like psyched about 50 views are like having, getting banned and like worried about what fucking URLs we type in. That's fucked up.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. But okay, so it's very easy and it's very user friendly, and you can read all the Q posts, and they just go to the most recent and then read it.
Now,
and I did that, and then
is it partisan? Are they analyzed like this is bullshit, or is it just here's everything that they?
It's everything that Q and it's all from fans that did it. So there's no, and this one doesn't have any like comments or anything. It's just like here's the Q post, and then it links to like a Google Docs, which is like an Excel sheet where they do a little bit of their analysis.
Yeah,
totally. And that's a real fun. That's where I get most of my information now because it's got a little bit more. They when he says something cryptic, they kind of try to tease it out, and it's quite an entertaining place to go. But yeah, so you can find Q online very easily, and you can read his posts. And I read about a third. About 4,000 posts, and I went through one day and I just read about a third of them. And it's batshit fucking crazy. So it's.
But then, how do you know what's actually him or what's a reposted? Because it seems to me that there's
missing the point, dude. It's all Q.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Q, right? Is it where we go one, we go all?
Where we go when we go all. That's it. Yes. But I don't know. I don't know exactly how 8chan works, but it seems like Q has like a profile there somehow, and so it's clear when a post is a Q post.
You mentioned that. He is someone some guy in the Hamptons or something. You said
no,
right?
no. My mom made a joke. She thinks it's an 18-year-old girl who lives in the
Okay, well,
Hamptons.
because
no, I thought some people went and tried to figure it out, and there's some like dudes that
some,
also have a porn site in the Philippines.
Right, that's what they said on Chapo. That there was like a lot of them come down to some 80-year-old dude.
I don't think they're 80.
I thought he was old.
Whatever.
I mean, it could be. It could definitely be.
I mean, it doesn't even really matter.
No. Well, here's why I bring that up, because it's always dropped on some very specifically odd message board where it's going to blow up. And like, are you guys familiar with like ARGs at all? The term ARG, alternate reality game. I think
Pokemon Go.
Not really.
Maybe, but I think they date. So I think they date back to like early internet shit that we were doing in high school, like early or middle school, like early message boards and stuff. But they really blew up in like the YouTube era. So people will they'll leave all these weird clues in their video where you can download a video, and then you look at if you turn in a text, it has a message and it goes to a website, and then there's something else, and it's almost always someone's like.
By the way, this is my cue for my clue for the day. Please follow these cues and decipher it, and you'll find gold at the end of the fucking rainbow.
If I end up dead, I want it to be known why. But okay, so they find like the right place to drop it, and it's always like a lot of it has to be.
Wait, sorry, I have to interrupt. No, actually,
please.
I'm Q. It's me, and this is my most recent drop. I just want to
we fucking broke it, guys.
That's it. I gotta drop the mic now. Boom.
LP is gonna be so pissed she wasn't here when we fucking outed Q.
Yep.
But
your enthusiasm for outing Q is gonna get you banned from all platforms now.
I don't think YouTube just will demonetize you. So if you try to monetize the video, they'll just demonetize.
Right.
They're not
just don't put Q in the video, or I guess you have to if you want people to watch.
I've been promoting this interview all week as Q and like QAnon stuff, but I've been adding stuff to make it clear that like we don't believe it. We're like investigating it.
Wait, we don't believe it?
Well, I don't. This show doesn't endorse Q.
I thought we were. This was a Q thing that we're. Do
you want me to edit out that fucking no card again?
No, leave it in.
You know,
that's important. How will they know what to bake their bread with? By the way, there's like a whole language they use, right? Like Q drops like breadcrumbs or whatever, and then the people who read it, they're the bakers, and they take his little like clues, his little like cryptic hints, and they bake them into like loaves or rolls or buns or whatever the fuck it is, and then they hand them off.
Fucking gingerbread houses, man.
Totally. And
life-size gingerbread houses.
So one day after reading a third of Q's posts, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna find this shit on fucking 8kun, and I did. I got there. I found it. It took fucking forever. 8kun is like immeasurably fucking convoluted and just difficult to fucking navigate. But it's so hilarious because one guy will be like, and I still don't quite wrap my head about it, but like there'll be a post where somebody's like, I got a bun to hand off. I'm looking for a baker to take it. And then somebody will be like, I got you, baker. And then a bunch of people will comment like, thank you, baker. And then he's like, okay, confirm handoff, confirm. But I'm not seeing like any files, and it's all anonymous. And it's like, what the fuck did you hand off? And the video that you posted with your, I got something to hand off was like a badly edited, like just like music with some text. And it was like a bad song from the 70s.
What I want to talk about,
man.
Is the editing, the videos, the editing, the media, because that is I love conspiracy theories. And anyone hands me any pamphlet on the street with your sign about, I'm in. Like, I want to know more. And Q does what every conspiracy has done, pre-video and into it, is just like always the worst editing. And so bad that you think like this is a bit, right? Like this is bad, or this is just nuts. Because here's the other thing I don't get. Like, for example, when I was researching the Black Knight satellite, also for this episode, someone linked, there's this whole thing now where the Black Knight satellite got shot down in 2019. That's what everyone's talking about now in this little fringe. And someone's like, the only clip I can find of it being shot down is someone's cell phone recording black and white off a laptop with house music playing in the background. And it's like, if this is so important, why did you add house music? It's always house music. Or like, I remember getting this 9/11 truther.
Don't you appreciate art?
I do. That's what keeps me in. I love it. And I try to cut the promos for our show as close to that as I can. But as an editor, I watch this stuff and I look for a wink that says.
Wait, time out. We have promos for this show?
Yeah.
You haven't seen your promos?
I haven't seen a goddamn thing. He hasn't sent me anything. I don't even know where the show exists.
I swear some of them are like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, that one will be long. I just recut the same shit a bunch, but they all have copyright claims too. All three of them got copyright claimed. And
speaking of copyrights, I'm not recording this, but like, can I like put this on my fucking channel, or how does that work?
Dude, you need to support us now, because you're the fucking
I actually did plug you in one of my early episodes, but I called you Bad Hair because I wasn't
damn
it. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's hey, I need a baker. Because I got a little bread.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baker. Thank you, Baker.
Yeah. Thanks, Baker. Pass off, hand off. Like
hand off, confirm hand off.
That's just, and that part of it is just human nature, outsider, insider. Like, it's fun to feel part of something. It's fun to play spies. 100%. It's fun to post shit and get likes. Like, I fall into it when, like, I'll go down some rabbit hole of a band I like for like a whole weekend, and I'm just like, people are talking in their own little code about gear to show that they know how amps work, like whatever. That's the normal shit. What I wonder about is, like, how does it get this fucking big?
Yeah.
And to the point where people shoot up pizza places and assassinate mob bosses. And also, here's what I really want to know is, like, we are living in the craziest moment where the government, we're having to renegotiate all of our civil rights because everything is shut down so people don't die in mass, and we have to trust the government with a vaccine and all this stuff. All these people should be like, see, here it is. But they're all like, no, that doesn't count. But check it out. 300 kids got fucking kidnapped in 2018 and no one did anything. And
we live in postmodern society. It's like come full circle now.
But why? I understand thinking that this shit is cool and like when shit is boring in like 2017. But like, why? I just don't know why Q is so. I feel like now people should just be like, yeah, we are living in vendetta.
There's like a history of like especially conservatives using like the idea of like threatening children as a way of like bolstering support for things. There was that stuff back in like the
gay people.
Was it the 90s or maybe like late 80s? There was some scandal with like daycares or something like that.
It's
like,
always kids,
and the daycare teachers were like abusing them, and then it like blew up, and it was like this chain of daycares around, and it was all focused at like Christian conservatives, and it turned out that it was all bullshit. Like none of those daycare teachers had abused any kids, but like their careers were all ruined for it.
Well, then the other big angle is gay daycare teachers,
totally, or gay Boy Scout leaders,
and it always comes down to what they call bathroom laws, and that's why we have transgender people being like, well, I guess they can be whatever gender they want, but they can't use the same bathrooms. Like, it always comes down to like, oh, in a bathroom you're gonna molest a kid, like. So
it's the same with video games. It's some secretive thing outside of our direct control is happening in a conspiratorial way, channeling the dark arts that are like making our kids not want to go to church anymore, which happens like more and more every fucking generation. So like you just wait every 5-10 years and there's like a new manifestation of the same like panic or peril.
And I think that people, in that they want to believe it. They want an easy reason why things are not going their way. They also want to feel that they're the good guy. I think that's a lot of the stuff with like.
It's also not easy though. It's convoluted and stupid. So like, how do you? I just don't get it. I love it. I research the fuck out of this stuff, but I don't get it.
I saw a really funny, really kind of disturbing, weird meme the other day because memes. But so it was two pictures, and on the top picture it was like the mental gymnastics you have to do to believe in Santa Claus, and it showed like a kid just like walking across a mat. Magic elf magically brings presents to all the children in the world on Christmas, right? There's no gymnastics there, right? And then the mental gymnastics you have to do to think that Santa Claus doesn't exist. All your parents have been lying to you for your entire fucking life. Your parents are eating, the cookies are being eaten. Your parents are putting all the presents under the tree. Like there's all these steps you have to take, It turns out that, like, and maybe it's similar with conspiracy theories, like children aren't religious anymore. Well, maybe it's because, I don't know, religion's batshit crazy, but it's rather, no, it's that, maybe then, okay, so the complex answer is, well, okay, things have changed, society is changing, we're more globalized, we have more information, religion is less appealing, we have more scientific stuff. There's all these steps you have to go to explain that. Or you can just be like, yeah, it's a fucking conspiracy from the Democrats that are all Satanists, and they're trying to turn our children against us.
That's the crux, man. That's the crux. That's why Q is like more effective. It's like a whole new genre of conspiracy theory. Like if you look at like Maze, I think if you look at
hold that thought, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Side here we go. see what else. Captain Marvel. Shazam. Beautiful ring. So, antique pocket watches, jewelry, vintage comic books. Yeah. Look at the craftsmanship on that watch. So, this episode, as always, is brought to you by Timbuk2. This episode about Facebook censorship is brought to you by this Facebook marketplace. Just TIMBUCK2 on Facebook. And, of course, our special guest this episode, Tastefully Digressed. You can find him here. RSS, if I can make this bigger by moving it closer. RSS.com/podcasts/Tastefully Digressed. This is a terrible ad. I'm sorry. Back to the show.
iTunes or on Spotify. I'm on iTunes, Spotify, Tastefully Digressed. Look, I'll look into the camera so you can. I'm looking you in the eye now. So yeah.
All right.
Watch my fucking podcast.
And we're back. You're our sponsor. The commercial we just watched is me talking about your channel. Although I haven't filmed it yet, but I will tonight.
Sweet.
Just want to show they have these tiny bottles of Corona. Just want to show that I'm drinking. But anyway, Kish, you remember what you were talking about? You were saying that Q is a whole new kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it is at all. I think it's actually like the most boring version of a lot of cooler shit, deep state or reptiles or government program shit. I think it just something about the populism and the anti-intellectualism of Trumpism, I guess, fueled with it. But I disagree with you that it's like a whole new, that it's the best version of this or whatever. I think it's just sort of, I don't know.
Look, it's not the best version. I started to follow Q because I've been following Alex Jones for years because I love getting down or just making sure I know what the people are thinking about. Make sure I got my finger on the pulse of the real news. Then I started looking into Q, and we can talk about that later, the fucking rabbit holes I went down at the beginning and realized this is the dumbest fucking thing.
It's the worst. It's the cool, dumbest one. It's the
or enjoyable. One. It's just fucking sad and dumb. But that's underlying the most of it is it's so fucking stupid. It's not even a cool conspiracy theory. A fucking Illuminati chanting around a fire in the woods with giant owl statues.
And you have footage. You have real footage of it.
That's fucking.
Why is this happening? Right.
Yeah. Right.
Or you get UFO footage and it's it's a fucking joke for years, and then they release the Tic Tac shit, and everyone's like, we don't know what the fuck that is. They're like, there's some fucking shit here.
You're right in a sense that it's definitely not any focused in any sense of the word. Other conspiracies like JFK was killed. Let's think about that. Or the Twin Towers was an inside job. Let's think about that.
Amazing. Right. There's 5 billion rabbit holes people have gone down. Right. Wrote books. There's pieces of evidence you can trace.
And it's real. It's for sure.
Chemtrails has some.
They definitely killed JFK.
They for sure killed JFK. I don't think anyone even disputes that at this point, do they? And it might have been George Walker Bush. But that's
but Q's like a shotgun.
No, I got it. That's a Chapo tip. But
Q's like a shotgun conspiracy. His posts are about tons of different. Maybe it's one day it's pedophiles, another day it's Hillary Rodham Clinton because he fucking hates Hillary Rodham Clinton
right now, right?
Well, I think she tried to flee the country on a fake passport and blah 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 blah.
Right.
His very first post was about Hillary. His very first post ever was Q. His very first post was HRC extradition already in motion, effective yesterday, with several countries in case of cross-border run, because she might run. Passport approved to be flagged, effective.
And that stupid telegram, stop over, writing style is
totally so annoying.
Clearly
so annoying.
Just to sound like you're fucking CIA.
Yeah,
it's never
so
talk that way.
Dumb.
And the worst part is it's
a
not
photo of a picture and post it on 8chan. That's not. Why would any of that have ever happened?
Yeah. No, and the thing is, it's also the worst because it's not good material for a podcast. I can't read his fucking if I read the stuff that he writes, it's I have to decipher it for people because it's all this.
Your podcast of it though was fantastic because
just because it's fucking hilarious.
You're legitimately trying. You're trying so hard to this means something. And here it is, and these people think that, but you keep laughing, you keep being like, but what? Here's a list of everyone who resigned in 2018. I guess that fucking matters. Like, it was hilarious. Like, let's see.
I don't. So that's the difference then. That's why I think it's actually like a new genre. Like we've gone full like postmodern fucking hellscape that we live in, right? Because Q is not like substantively like a conspiracy theorist that you could like open up your book of conspiracy theories and like try to get to the bottom of it, and there's like going to be inherently a bunch of like unanswered questions or unanswerable questions, right? Like there is no there QAnon, right? Like there's like what happens though is there's all these threads of conspiracy theories, which makes it like intriguing. But QAnon is like now dovetailed with all these things that are happening in real life, which makes it the postmodern moment, right? That you're like all this ethereal world of like random ideas now, coupled with social media, which is like a new element to conspiracy theory that didn't really exist, because now you are part of QAnon, right? Like you are trying to like make the bread and pass off the bread, and you're like actively working on it. But then those ideas are dovetailing with like actual people like who have ideas that like, you know, there is Hollywood sex cults and we like want to like save the children, right? What is that that like dovetails with people that are like very concerned about saving like unborn babies, right? And then also people that are like interested in Q and Trump maybe like being Q, whatever the fuck it is.
And loving America. If you love America, you love Q.
Exactly, you know? Right? But this now translates into political activism that is real, right? Like you can go now to a Trump rally or to a protest on the street, and there's people there that are now believing in it. So it's not just like some thing that you're reading about, like the next like UFO. It's like this thing that you're participating in. So it's like an active. It's like a fucking sourdough starter, right? Like it's constantly being fed and enlivened, right? Because like people are constantly adding to it, and all it takes is like whatever asshole Q is to like sprinkle in some bullshit to fuck with everybody. Well, and they're like, oh my god.
The way Q sets it up is you can always just be like, well, look at this and look at this. Like, so you can just find shit. And we live in an evil world where there are pedophiles and sex cults. And, and if you are a Christian, there's all sorts of satanic seeming things. So you just have to pick and choose. It just irritates me as someone who would love to see them get mad about like the FBI fucking assassinating democratically elected people in like Colombia and shit. Like, there's so much real there, but instead
I think it's more. It's like, you know, I guess it's because I'm like spending more and more time listening to like conservative America talk about all this shit, right? That it's like it's not really that there's a there. Like there's plenty of people that have gone to fucking Trump rallies and asked people about QAnon, right? And the answer from everyone always is like Q definitely exists, right? Or like, do you think any of these conspiracy theories are true? And people are like, well, I think they raise some good questions, right? But then it's like a community that you're a part of that then is politically energized and has a massive like base of support that then are showing up in like the tens of thousands supporting a fucking political like not a candidate, an actual sitting American president who is supporting and fueling these ideas in like subtle and very overt and direct ways.
They only, like I said earlier, we were talking about earlier, they only vote for Trump. Like, that's why Trump gets a lot of votes too. Part of it is these are people who I don't think would vote otherwise. Trump manifested this base in American politics, which I think is uninheritable, and also which pollsters in the DNC couldn't really skew for.
Well, let's hope it's uninheritable. But hey, you know, on the topic of like CIA, is assassinating, people in Latin America and shit like that. It's probably time to like drop the bomb, the Q bomb. You should probably put this as like a hashtag somehow, But Q's fucking dead, dude. Q's dead.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. What? Seriously. No, I'm not even joking. Q hasn't posted in like 3 weeks, and Q posts like 5 posts a day.
Yeah, and are we sure it's all the same guy though? This whole
it's probably a group of people, but they're all dead. They were just wiped out by like an FBI fucking, Black Ops fucking, pop. That's what happened, dude. Absolutely, that's Q.
Is John Jr. safe? John, is he okay?
I don't know. That's the best part though, because Q
now is like, hold on,
or he's been like, or he's in Guantanamo.
Okay.
Right. I forget. QAnon kept being like, wait for it. This shit's gonna happen, and people were so into it. Like, yes, We're gonna wait for it. We're gonna wait for it, and then fucking bang! This is gonna be the moment that Hillary walks out in handcuffs, and it like never happens.
Never happened.
Ever. Yeah, and no one's really fucking deterred at all. It's like,
but
damn,
look
that must
at
have been
every doomsday cult ever does that shit, and it never hurts them. They always say the world's gonna end. It's been happening for fucking ever, and it never does. And then they always say that their like math was wrong or God changed his mind or whatever, and then eventually people get sick of it and they break up, or they just commit mass suicide. And
you just find something that's a lot smaller than what you expected, and you say that was what I was talking about.
Right.
You know, like if the world didn't end, but you know, there was that one guy that got hit by a bus, and that was it. That was the thing.
And then think about the magic, not the magic, but the art of the deal of it, if you will, where you get everyone convinced, they sell all their shit, they have nothing, it doesn't happen. Where are they gonna go? They sold all their shit. But they can live in your compound until
it's easier. It's easier to just believe, you know, just believe, you know. Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it's yeah. It's
But he's definitely dead. I'm not even joking. Like he was fucking dead. Like he hasn't posted, and he posts. He's like a prolific poster. You know,
there's no way
someone's trying to figure out his next step.
I don't think you can. I think there's like a number that's associated to him on 8chan, and like only he gets that number, and so like it's him, and he hasn't posted really in like 3 weeks. Like the internet's starting to talk about it. So you should do that like as you know, the hashtag at the bottom of the video is Q dead, and then you'll get all the Q people, you know. Yeah, and maybe even put a little blurb, like cut a blurb in the front, be like, at the end of the episode we find out like if Q's dead or not, and then they'll watch the whole fucking thing, you know, and then leave a like and subscribe and shit.
I guess the answer is yes. Like, subscribe, check out Tastefully Digress.
Exactly. Yeah, hit the little bell, you know. Yeah.
I mean, I would really just love to do the whole episode about the editing and just, but I'll stop it here. My favorite story though was this chick who traveled cross country to go to different capital cities to pass out her fucking 9/11 Truth CD-ROM, and she gave it to me, and I was like, fuck yeah, and it wouldn't fucking play. And it's like the amount of work these people do to not actually tell you anything makes me wonder, what is the percentage of trolls to schizophrenics to just like patriots, you know, to true believers? Like,
but on the right, it's all memes now, right? You know, the right doesn't even make videos, dude. They just make fucking memes. You know, it's just fucking memes.
They don't make videos, and they're not funny.
Yeah, and the left is really like way behind on the meme game. You know, the left's meme game is fucking atrocious.
They have none. It's sad.
You know, like you get like a leftist meme, and it's like a Karl Marx with like a bunch of like intellectual quotes, and you're like, that's not how you do that.
The right has no comedy. There are no comedians. There's no humor on the right, but they have come up with memes which are fucking good and amusing.
Yeah, amusing.
So,
and,
like,
you know,
finally,
and they stick with you, you know. And
part of it, I mean, there's something to be said about the right's ability to just shoot from the gut and spew hate and not feel bad. It's funny, like.
The memes aren't even, you know, obviously hateful. They're only, it's a subtext. They're all like dog whistles. You have to kind of like pick through it a little bit, you know. But it's funny because Q always says like all assets deployed. That's one of his favorite things to say. All assets deployed, and I'm convinced that means that like the meme war is on. Like this is a call to meme. You know, when Q writes all assets deployed, then, you know, his fucking bakers go out and then start making fucking memes. Like, we got to fucking troll the left with our memes. Because, again, you know, why President Trump was elected, I totally agree. Why Q exists is because they got to fucking troll the left. It's all just trolling the left.
Sure.
That's why the memes are so fucking popular, because that's the way they troll the left.
It's not even trolling the left, because, like, the left doesn't give a fuck about the memes. It's like, it's for the right being like, look at how we are trolling the left with our memes.
Right. Throwing each other red meat. Yeah. But
how all these people who support Q, like at Trump rallies and shit, I guarantee to you that like less than 5% of them have ever read a Q post. They don't have any fucking idea what they're fucking.
Yeah, that's part of it too. You can put your own interpretation on it immediately.
Yeah, it's just a thing that that this group has attached to, and nobody.
Government time to stand up.
Absolutely, and
everyone agrees with that.
And this group is not exactly, you know, known for its, you know, fact checking ability. You know, none of them are going out checking fucking facts. So you don't need to read Q. You just need to hear somebody at the rallies like, I suppose, like, what's that? It's like, dude, that's the fucking shit. Like, Q knows everything. He said this stuff from the beginning. He's like predicted it all. It's like, oh really? I guess I love Q now too. I'm never gonna read a Q post. I don't know 8chan. Like, fucking maybe my granddaughter can show me how to fucking access that website on my fucking Nokia phone. Like, come on, you
that
know?
is probably part of the appeal then of the taking a picture of what you're posting, and like it is. There's a low fineness to Q that probably makes it pretty easy for the crazy older uncles and grandmas of the world to adopt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they ever even tried. You know, they just
how
just
is
think
it's
it's
getting
great.
shared on Facebook though? Because that's like the medium for
Not
grandmas.
anymore, bro. Facebook banned all that
I
shit.
know.
Blanket
So
ban.
then, like, that's got to be a huge death blow.
And
not,
that
maybe not
no,
death blow,
it's the
but like
opposite.
huge...
Whenever you censor shit like that, you make it cool again, and you give everybody a purpose inside of it again, and then
we're talking about old people who don't know how to use computers. It's like like they figured out how to use Facebook, and then you're like, it's not on Facebook. Just go to fucking 8Q or whatever the fucking like sort of like 8Q, zero chance. Even if it went to Twitter, they'd be like, hold up, I gotta call my granddaughter.
Yeah. And Twitter banned it too. It's off Twitter as well.
Yeah.
So you need to like find it maybe Reddit and then all the underground message boards.
Dude, there's no like old 4chan people and 8chan and shit. Fucking combing through Reddit.
No. I mean, Reddit's so easy compared to these other message boards.
But there are the Proud Boy incel demographics combing through this shit at home.
Yeah, well, they repost that shit onto Reddit. You know, the incels are on fucking 8chan, 4chan.
What's the overlap though between Proud Boys, say, or the militant right and Q? I always thought it was a big overlap along with the Boogaloos, but
man, they don't have any fucking idea. They don't fucking read Qs. They don't give a shit about that. No. I mean, some of the big like topics, the big themes, maybe like filter through like pedophile and shit. The pedophile ring, the DNC is running. Oh, by the way, that's what I wanted to say. There is some good work that comes out of it. Like they have managed to compile lists because they love their fucking lists. They've compiled a list of every single person associated with the U.S. government and also governments around the world that has been charged or convicted of pedophilia.
That was solid. Yeah, that's a good list.
How productive.
That's a good list. But the thing is, and it's a long list. Like you read through it and you're like, fuck, really? Like it's long, dude. Like there's so many fucking people. But also, like, doesn't that kind of undermine the conspiracy? Because if there really was a giant pedophile ring conspiracy, why are they getting caught so much? Like Jesus. I mean, either every single politician is secretly a pedophile and they're all in on it, and then like some of them get caught, or every time a politician is a pedophile, they get caught because there's no fucking conspiracy. Because they're just powerful people abusing their power and they get caught, and it makes the media, and like if it's a conspiracy, then why do they keep getting fucking caught?
Are they latching on to the Epstein stuff and like the book?
No, that's kind of, as far as I can tell, that's a little bit of a blind spot. I mean, Epstein is only, of course, damning to the Clintons and not to Trump, even though they were best buddies and they both went to court for like fucking molesting underage
fucking friends and flew around on the rape jet.
Totally, but somehow that weird doublethink in the conservative mind manages to make it all about Clinton and not at all about Trump. Even though,
and I'm fine with that. Like if Hugh brings down the Clintons, who are fucking monsters, I'm super fine with that. Like Bill Clinton is a giant rapist, but I don't think Hillary's a reptile drinking blood.
No. But I mean, there's also some truth to the things they say. There is definitely powerful people who abuse their power
and I just
rape fucking children. Right. And pedophilia is a terrible fucking thing. And it is organized also on the internet. Also, I would fucking guarantee somewhere on 8kun there's fucking, if you want to get a hold of some pedophile material, it's probably there.
100%.
That's where would you would go.
There's a bunch. I follow a YouTuber who like finds them on other channels and like blows them up, and he's like, these people are fucking talking about this, and then they move to a different thing. But that's why the Pizzagate thing kind of happened, was child pizza or cheese pizza is code for real amongst pedophiles who do have their own massive organization and their own dog whistles because they need it to survive if they want to keep being pedophiles and horrible people.
I read that DC pizza place is also like a place where like they do like left leaning poetry slams and like display like artists from art from like leftists in DC and shit, and it has a little bit of like a history in DC, and it's kind of like a little bit of a gathering place for probably center left, not even like far left, but like center left.
It's just
young
like
people
poetry reading, like armed gunmen. It's just like
and the gunman, and there's no basement, so when the gunman came like asking for they couldn't, they like, we don't have a basement.
It's fucking Pee Wee Herman in the Alamo, basement of the Alamo. Well, so there's two ways to go with this. I want to go back a second ago to, well, no, fuck all that. How do they feel about Biden's election? How does Q contextualize?
Maybe
Trump?
that's why he's not posting anymore. Maybe he's like, oh, Trump is gone, because he came right around the same time that Trump showed up, and then he
Trump
disappeared. Right,
gave Q a lot of clout because it was like no one saw Trump winning, so maybe.
Yeah, but that was before. I mean, Trump only recently ever figured out. I mean, the first Q post is October 28th, 2017.
Okay.
So do that math. About a year or whatever after Trump showed up. That's the first time Q posts.
But so there's been. So you don't. What do you see happening? Is there going to be a schism within Q now that Trump is not the president, amongst believers who think he still is the president in some shadow capacity?
I think Q is not going to post anymore. I think that's done now. I think he's either been assassinated, or he's in Guantanamo Bay, or he had a heart attack from too many fucking Cheetos. It's one of those.
Sure.
One of those possibilities. And I think but the question you ask is a good question. Just in more generally, like, what's going to happen to the country when a president that half of the country
thinks
is not
either should still be the president or is still the president.
Yeah, and that's a thing, So that'll be fun to watch from Germany. I'm going to enjoy that.
Well, I think Hunter Biden, and also just Biden's like, he is the deep state. I mean, if there is a corporate deep, there is like a fucking ruling elite. That's Joseph Biden, and the people he's putting in his cabinet now. So there's always going to be fodder for this kind of thinking, right? Like,
yeah. And I mean, it's not all incorrect, right? I mean, I think sarcasm aside, no, Joe Biden is definitely deep state, or has connections to it, and the people he's putting in are that.
But that's why every conspiracy theory's got some airs of truth to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they work, right?
Otherwise,
yeah. Another quick thing I wanted to add, because we touched on it earlier, that I would love both of your thoughts on, especially Kish, is, so we talked about the DNC sucks. There's this populist, or just like fuck it all, smash it all, like own the libs movement. It seems to me that a crucial part of the equation, I think you were kind of saying this before, Kish, is that as the DNC proves itself to be more corporate bound, lobbyist owned, out of touch, not promise keepers, they talk this, and they can sound smart and lawyerly, so it kind of makes people not want to be explained to. If they hadn't done that, they wouldn't have created, and this is not my idea, someone smarter said this, but they created a vacuum in the right for that kind of conspiracy that's always been there to become mainstream, because the left moving to the right made the far right the center right, So part of me thinks that, if there is a big plan to this, it's like, it's for the status quo to kind of stay in charge by letting the fringes kind of go off. I don't know. I'm saying too much, but did that make sense? I'm kind of drunk by the end of these.
No, I don't follow. A plan by who? Q?
No, like
the man.
If the Democrats keep moving to the center, then they force progressives like Noam Chomsky every 4 years and Cornel West to say you have to vote for the Democrat this time, and then they don't give any concessions to the progressives, and then the far right gets more and more powerful and mainstream because there's a vacuum in the right that's being taken by the Democrats moving to the right, and then it makes the whole Democratic left have to keep supporting shitty people or fighting these micro battles. I just think it's all part of a, the 7 lizard people on Epstein's jet want it like this, is my point.
I think that's a good theory.
I don't think there's any conspiracy theory. I think they're just fucking delusions by people that are in power and in DC. They don't give a fuck.
There's delusions
across they're cashing out, dude.
On this equation. There's the illusions across the board on this equation. Like everyone's bought into their own flavor of Kool-Aid.
I mean, I think what's oftentimes interpreted as like a plan, like a conspiracy that people are like working together on, is actually just like opportunist behavior. A lot
of it's trolling for fun. Like
totally. Like some people saw Trump as, they had a choice. Trump became president, and like people in the DNC said, well, either we can like flip out, and that's not going to do any anybody any good, or we can try to like move our party a little bit more to the right and secure sort of, pro-business status quo into the foreseeable future by sort of piggybacking off of this sort of like far right swing in the Republican Party. And let's make that our focus. And so, we'll basically,
it's a feedback loop where the far right keeps getting nuttier and nuttier and scarier and scarier. So you're like, we absolutely have to vote for Joe Biden, a man I fucking hated with every fiber of my being when he first started running. I don't like him more now, but like, it's just
that's bad politics by the Democrats. It's not going to pay off.
It's not bad politics though. It's on purpose, because this way Pelosi and whoever's in charge, Pelosi, Schumer, even HRC, Bill, they all have their own little kingdoms, and no one's gonna fuck with them. They don't really care if they like win the day and make life better for most people.
Right.
They would rather be.
No, you're right. It was good politics in this exact moment, but it's not good politics in the long run. It's not going to work. This race to the middle, while the right is running farther to the right? So you keep pandering to this faux middle, the faux center, right? By just doing what? Like doing complete neoliberal corporatist government that like actually just pisses off everyone in the process, but it's like not socialism, but it's also like not anything Republicans want whatsoever. So that's what they're going to do for the next 4 years.
And keep in mind that, like, the business, these sort of controlling elites, they're much more comfortable with something like fascism than they are with anything like the left.
Oh, sure.
Like the left is really a threat. That's why people like AOC and Bernie Sanders and these people have to be like sort of, either disregarded or demonized, like immediately. This is the bad guy, even though really, because if AOC and Bernie Sanders, even though what they're proposing is super moderate, like compared to like the rest of the fucking developed world. But
or compared to American history too, if you look at like what stuff we didn't pass.
Absolutely, right. But nevertheless, that's a threat to the business interest, right? And so they would be more happy with somebody like Trump, or even like Trump's successor, who we imagine is going to be even fucking worse and like literally fascist, because that's good for business. They're totally fine, with that, and you see, like, in the left, there's oftentimes this debate between class reductionists and like everybody else, and the class reductionists want to say that, it's all just, about, the capital and the way capital moves. And we don't need to worry about Black Lives Matter, man, because ultimately capitalism is the one that threatened the Black lives in the beginning. So if we just got rid of capitalism, then the Black people will be totally, and I don't subscribe to that. I'm not a fucking class reductionist. And I had a point, but I drank too much schnapps and now I don't know where I was going with that. So,
that sounded crazy smart though. And I love it.
It was really, it was going to get really good there, but
well, let me throw a curveball into this quick then, just to kind of bring it back to the Facebook ban. And because you talked about this, I really liked your last episode too about being banned from Facebook. And you touched on this. I wanted to follow up with you. The algorithm of YouTube does seem, I think it's been proven to kind of skew radical. Like no matter what you're into, it's going to get deeper and deeper into that. Yeah. And I think Facebook, it's different between platforms. Like the way it works on Twitter is resistance fam, everyone, hey, resistance party, everyone follow back. And then it's a bunch of Obama memes, like with thumbs up, or like Joe Biden in the car. It's like a self-made fucking Big Brother, because neoliberal boomers are like maybe the dumbest ones in this whole story. But then on Facebook, it's about targeted ads and targeted misinformation, and your feed gets fuller and fuller of it. And on YouTube, it's like I'll watch UFO shit, and I'll start up with like NASA, like some NASA scientist talking about shit, and I'll fall asleep, and I'll wake up, and it's like full dude not showing his face, talking to his webcam, with like just pure conspiracy, crazy shit. And there's some mathematical proof to that, because it needs to keep giving you something more interesting, and it knows what you like.
Well, so thank God for YouTube.
Indoctrinating you. I know, thank God for it, but it's kind of
because if we're going to get any viewers at all, it's going to be precisely those people who have fallen down some rabbit hole,
who just woke up right now and are like, "Who the fuck are these dudes?"
Exactly.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much of a role the algorithm, as it is, plays in Q.
Well, I mean, I don't know if
our factionalization in general,
I mean, on the message board itself, I don't think there's a lot of algorithm going on. I mean, as far as like getting Q support on YouTube, for sure. Like if you start watching Q videos, then you're going to be they're going to recommend more Q videos, and you're going to fall deeper and deeper into it. But that will go in either direction. We'll start watching Chomsky videos, and suddenly,
you're getting full lectures.
You're reading Marx. You're reading Das Kapital.
I always feel good though when I wake up and it's been like some law professor just going off about the cops for like 2 hours, and I'm like, oh, I hope I absorb this.
But hey, I remember what I wanted to say. So just like capitalism recently puts on like this friendly face, right? And like for example, the whole Black Lives Matter. Suddenly you have all these advertisements, from I don't know, Nike and stuff, with Copernic, and like do what you want, and like like glorifying protest and glorifying Black lives, which on the one hand is it's not awful, right? But we have to remember that like capitalism could also just not do that. One of the things that the class reductionists like to say is that this is capitalism is just, it's like always this way. They like to reduce this friendly version of capitalism, be like, yeah, but it's really insidious, but it's not. There's nothing inevitable about capitalism choosing to like put on a friendly face and supporting Black lives, right? Capitalism could just in a moment switch and be like, yeah, we're all fucking white supremacists now. And like if we think that that's going to appeal to our audience, then that's the one. If that's going to sell us more stuff, then we are fucking literal Nazis, and they're trying to hop on certain bandwagons, and they're successful.
It's always best to play the field though. You want to talk BLM and then be a Nazi with your money.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. That's the
absolutely.
best way to win.
And they'll go BLM right up to the moment where they realize, oh shit, it's getting so big, it's actually threatening capitalism. So now we're going to do something different, and then they'll be fucking full on white supremacist, fascist shit, and they'll be happy to do that. They'll be happy to go either way as long as they're making fucking money, and they're not going to make money if we have a communist revolution, right? So they're never going to go that way, they're never going that far,
right?
So fascism all the way,
Fascism is just such a deep dive though for the corporate, the cortop, whatever. Corporate
cortocracy,
right?
Cortocracy. That's good. Cortocracy. Yeah, that's a good word.
It's a deep dive because then you're fully committed, and the only way out is like the destruction of the fascism. So like, the point that like proves what you're saying, Chell, is just like all these firms, all these places donated, to Trump and Biden.
Right.
Yeah. And
the
movement for not to sound like a fucking class reductionist, but the movement for Black Lives, got part of $100 million grant from the Ford Foundation to do their shit, and speaking realistically, part of that donation probably included some high profile dinners with movement for Black Lives leader meeting future Black representatives, shaking hands and saying like and that were sort of sponsored by the Ford company. It's like, here we have a progressive Black person that we want to push into politics, and we think you should meet that person.
Like you get someone early on their way into politics, you get enough of them, and then they're gonna be corporate friendly the whole time.
And if you read the Wikipedia for the Ford Foundation, they sound like a great place. They're just about social issues, social justice. But but partly they're also pro-capitalist.
The Nazis to the Axis and the Allies until even 2 months after the U.S. government made him stop. He kept doing it for like 2 more months. Totally. This was like way into World War II. He's still actively building shit for the Germans. So
totally. But the left is always what has been threatening. That's why the left is what is always cracked down on and was always tried to be marginalized and
when it's
attacked,
in your rhetoric that you're anti-capitalist, like when you're anti-money,
exactly
you make it so right, it's it becomes untouchable.
Yeah, and that's way more threatening than Trump would be, than the fascism. And in a weird sense, maybe not. We're maybe not fascist now, but there's a very totalitarian, sense to our current society, because to get better in our society, we imagine that we just need to maybe have some reforms. And I'm also like a reformist. I'm not like a revolutionary, but the idea is that capitalism has been so good, and it's had such positive benefits that really the only way we can imagine further progress is by is to kind of get a little bit better at being capitalist, maybe a little bit nicer, maybe a little bit like some small tweaks and turns here.
Accept the evil of it. Yeah,
totally.
it's detailed, but we can keep trying to,
And that's totalitarian thinking, when there's no way out, when there's no when there's nothing that, to sort of to set it next to and say, but listen, there's a different way that we could possibly do it. No, all the solutions are contained within the system,
Or John F. Kennedy Jr. is the fucking president somehow, and Hillary has an ankle bracelet, and or you can just have this whole other fucking
absolutely
this whole other world,
Totally.
Gentlemen, we're almost out of time, and Kish, I'm gonna leave you with closing thoughts, and if you don't have any, I was gonna do a UFO rundown really fast at the end. So Kish, I'll give it to you.
A UFO rundown. No, we can talk about all the other shit going on in the world at a different time.
You got any last questions for our Q guest?
Yeah, I don't know. My only takeaway with Q was it was just so fucking depressing. After the pizza, what is it?
Pizzagate.
Well, Planet Pizza. What the fuck was it called?
The name of the pizza place. Oh yeah.
It doesn't even matter. As soon as it got into Voodoo Donuts, and Voodoo Donuts was getting do you remember this? Voodoo Donuts in Portland was getting spammed with all these it was the next manifestation, and I was like, what the fuck?
When they called out Tom Hanks as the pedophile, is when I was just so done.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. But then it was and I'm like, what the fuck? There's got to be substance to this somewhere. And then I found the video and I watched it for a full hour, and it's this guy who was just in such rough shape, clearly, and a guy who was clearly sexually abused when he was a kid, but then also just in I think he has a kid who's probably our age, but in dire straits, kicked out of his house, and and then he just was probably having an episode, a manic episode, and then he a fucking Q guy, conspiracy guy, gets a hold of him, is let me just interview you, and then you just tell me unfiltered everything that happened. And the guy sits there and recounts a tale of when he was a kid, and he was a child inside the Hollywood pedophile ring, or maybe not Hollywood, and he told this whole story about kids. They we all go out to play tag, but then the parents would take some of us and kill us and put us in cages, and we're all terrified because we all spend so much time in cages. I was just man, this is a fucking terrible story, which probably airs of truth to it from his own childhood. And then it's how does it come back to Voodoo Donuts? He's well, yeah, no, then I went to my boss's party because I work at Voodoo Donuts, and my boss said the one phrase that they would say at these parties 30 years ago, and so I knew he was a pedophile, so I went straight to the internet and told everyone that Voodoo Donuts has a pedophile ring because he used the code word. But it's man, at the root of this fucking conspiracy theory is just
a
preying on people in an unstable state. I sympathize with that guy. He had a super fucking rough time in his life and in that moment that he was doing the interview, but then to take that and they're just it's just so goddamn depressing. I was this is so dumb and so fucking stupid.
It's a mix of the actual, the very ill and the very opportunistic. So it's just but
and the gullible
and the bored, or that more than bored.
That was the other one with fucking the guy who does god damn it, Seth, or guy with red hair, and he was supposed to be a pedophile.
Seth Rogen?
Not Seth Rogen.
Is that a guy? Is that a name? Babbling.
I've seen a million movies.
Redhead Seth guy in a million. Oh, Seth Green. He's in Austin Powers.
No, not Seth Green.
The third one. Oh.
What was that guy who made that movie with the sausages on the string and the?
That was Tom Green.
Tom Green.
It's
Seth Green, Tom Green, Adam Green. Too many fucking Greens.
The voices of Futurama and all this other stuff. Anyway, this other guy, he was blew up, and he's there's a huge pedophile ring because I'm in Hollywood, and he's this guy's friend, this actor's friend, and I watched all those videos, and this guy was having a fucking manic episode constantly, and he was going on and doing all these interviews being no, I was there, and then finally his story was I was sitting down, he was legitimately friends with these actors in Hollywood, and the actor in Hollywood was this chicken tastes really good, and he's I knew then when he said that he was a pedophile, and we were all talking about fucking little boys. So I'm going to go to the internet and blow up all my friends in Hollywood and say that they're part of a big pedophile ring. That guy I saw 2 months later, literally jumped off a bridge and killed himself. But he was blew up in the fucking Q sphere.
And with that, we are out of time.
Oh,
wait. Moldy Peaches started hipsters. I just want to throw that out there.
That's your Adam Green callback.
Yeah, totally. The Moldy Peaches, they began the whole hipster thing. It started with Moldy Peaches.
You can find Tastefully Digress on Spotify, iTunes, wherever podcasts are found, YouTube. And as always, hit us up at beltwaybabies@gmail.com and we'll send you a free flag pin. Thanks for being here, Chell.
Oh, yeah, totally. You have to let me interview you.
Whenever you want. Sure.
Totally. We'll just do slice of life, though. No politics,
Okay. Yeah.
You can just, yeah. Because I don't really talk about politics.
Well, yeah. Well, you're not
at all.
Yeah.
But
thanks for having me.
Say hi to Joe.
Happy to be here. It's fucking 3:42 in the morning here. So, and probably the whole house is awake, because I'm yelling into this goddamn microphone.
Hey, the truth needs to get out there, man.
That's true. It's true. The truth finds a way, man.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't trust the truth. Bye.